We reflect fondly on our first. It could be your first paycheck, your first video game, your first PC that was a hand-me-down from your older sibling. My first 5-star in Honkai Star Rail was Jing Yuan. When I first saw that animated trailer, I knew at that moment I had to E6 that character. That character I'm referring to was Jing Liu. Okay, but Jing Yuan was still really cool in that trailer. After finishing the trailer, I said to myself, if I don't get Jing Yuan, I'm not playing this game. Back to being an ARAM casual. Maybe the gacha RNG god smiled upon me because on my very first tempo, the very first character, it was Jing Yuan. Then I tried my luck on his light cone. On my very first tempo, I lost a Sin 525. But right after that, his light cone appeared. Jing Yuan will always hold a special place in my heart. Now, am I going to sit here and lie to you about Jing Yuan being some kind of perfect damage dealer this entire time? No, he's not. He has had his fair share of ups and downs, but every time I needed him to clear a lightning weakness stage, he pulled through. For me personally, I should have zero reasons to pull an Acheron. I already have lightning element coverage for my account. I know some of you may also be fond of the Luofu General, or some of you already have some other damage dealers. So, should you still consider getting Acheron? Is she worth it? Short answer, just like the same way I treat my leg days at the gym, you can get away with skipping. The long answer, however, is a bit more complicated. As always, aesthetics over mechanics. If you like the character, poll first, questions later. Let's talk about Acheron.
I find brief serenity.
If what I'm about to say doesn't instantly make you want to poll for her, then I'll see you in the next video because nothing else I can say will tip the scale. She can one-shot normal enemies. Let me repeat that. She can one-shot normal enemies. I will be perfectly honest with all of you. I hate weekly Sim Universe runs. It is so boring in my opinion. I can't even efficiently AFK during my runs. The fact that I can take Acheron on my SU runs and just spam her technique to instantly clear all the non-elite mobs is a complete game changer. Think about how much time you can save. You go up to a normal enemy, use her technique, that's it. You don't even have to wait for the battle to load. To further add to how life-changing this can be, you know how when you're trying to get from point A to point B, but these annoying mobs are chasing you around? With her technique, you can swat these pesky mobs away. Before we can move on, I'm going to use this segment to quickly simplify her kit. Her kit is slightly more complicated than your typical damage dealers. You can only expect so much when the character design team is working with one hand.
I find brief serenity.
Acheron has a unique mechanic with her ult. You can't charge it with energy, so characters like Huohuo and Tingyun aren't going to benefit Acheron that much. Acheron has a unique counter called Slash Dream, SD for short. Whenever you use her skill, she gains SD. Whenever an ally applies debuff to enemies, she gains SD. When SD reaches 9, she can use her ult. And what does her ult do? Well, just watch this clip.
Filthy rats! All of you!
That's basically what her ult does to her enemies. There are other parts of her kit such as Crimson Knots, but those are just adding more to her damage. And you don't need me to tell you that she does big PP damage.
I find brief serenity.
On the subject of versatility, Acheron may be the most versatile damage dealer in the game. Her ult reduces toughness of weakness types and reduces all enemies type resist. This basically means you can take her to fight any bosses regardless of weakness types and she will still be able to bust out insane numbers. Elemental coverage just doesn't apply to her. This is like having Silver Wolf baked into Acheron's kit. She may be a lightning type, but you can take her to any battle. Acheron is essentially a master key that can open many locks. This is even more ridiculous if she's E6. Here's a description of her E6, but to be honest, between you and me, any limited 5-star damage dealer with the E6 is going to be game breaking. So this is like saying water is wet. My biggest issue with Acheron is her team building. Do understand that every single damage dealer in this game has their own best in slot teammates. I get that. You can use very strong characters like Sparkle who isn't in Nihility and might get even similar or close enough damage performance compared to 2 Nihility. However, doing that just feels like you're wasting one of Acheron's main traits. One of her traits gives her a 115 or 160% boost on her basic, skill, and ult damage, if and only if there are 1 or 2 Nihility characters on the team other than Acheron herself. I'm not going to pull out the VF equal VI plus AT equation to show how much damage exactly she's losing out if you don't run her with 2 Nihility characters. There are other videos out there who do the math stuff way better than I ever could, so check them out if you want to see how that math works out. But still, I think you can picture the difference of losing out on 160% regardless of how this percent is being calculated. I'm personally not a big fan of feeling forced to run 2 Nihility characters with Acheron. Plus, right now, the current Harmony character pool has better utilities than the Nihility character pool. I don't think that's a hot take. I'm sure most of you would prefer Bronya, Sparkle, or Ron May over the likes of Pella, Welt, and Silverwolf on most of your teams. There is a simple solution to all of this. If you happen to be one of those extremely lucky individuals who wins their 50-50 on Acheron, and you find yourself having enough surplus of money to donate to Wikipedia and pay for a certain monthly subscription, maybe you can try your luck in getting her E2. One part of her E2 reduces the Nihility count from 2 to 1. This opens up the opportunity for you to run the likes of Bronya or Sparkle with your Acheron team. While we're talking about opportunity, I will also appreciate it if you can use this opportunity to give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already.
I find brief serenity.
I know I said earlier that you can take Acheron to any battle regardless of enemy weakness types. While that is possible, you should not expect Acheron to outdamage Jing Yuan versus an ice weakness boss. But what about just for the lightning type? How does Acheron stack up against her main competition in the lightning element? Mainly, Jing Yuan. First of all, I'm not going to compare the damage. Jing Yuan has gotten a glow up and his damage is legit nowadays. Plus, their damage is relatively close at E0. What I will compare is usability. Number 1. Let me ask you this question. What do you usually do when your Lightning Lord already has 10 stacks, but is your Jing Yuan's turn at the moment? If you basic attack, it doesn't do much damage. Please don't ever basic attack with your Jing Yuan. If you use his skill, that uses up 1 SP and it doesn't speed up Lightning Lord anymore because it's already at 10 stacks. No matter what action you take in this scenario, it always feels wasteful. It is a different case for Acheron. Nothing goes to waste. Even after reaching 9 SD, she can still go over that limit with her Ascendant stacks. In case you're wondering, her Ascendant stacks gives her SD after using her ult. My second point, you won't take Jing Yuan into an ice weakness stage, but you can get away with taking Acheron into an ice weakness stage. She is that versatile because weakness type just doesn't apply to Acheron. On the subject of versatility, Jing Yuan at the moment has better support characters to pick from. Currently, there aren't that many premium best in slot Nihility characters for Acheron, and due to her trace, you most likely won't be running in Harmony characters with Acheron. It is much easier to build a team for Jing Yuan right now than it is for Acheron. Let me talk about these two real quick. Ting Yun, one of the best 4-star Harmony character in the game. Can't use her with Acheron. Ho Ho, the best offensive character in the game. Her ult is also useless on Acheron. While Jing Yuan is very friendly when it comes to team building right now. You can probably close your eyes, randomly pick 2 support characters, and they'll work with Jing Yuan.
I find brief serenity.
Character in this game will eventually get power crept, especially damage dealers. This is almost as guaranteed as Doc Rivers blowing a 3-1 lead. However, I think Acheron is still set up for success for the foreseeable future. In the future, there's going to be the Nihility characters who will make Acheron even stronger. With her ability to ignore weakness type and reduce enemies' weaknesses, I have to say that alone will make her viable for the foreseeable future. In theory, if your Acheron team is strong enough, she can have the damage to clear any MLC stage regardless of element type. That is like the definition of versatility, being able to use her regardless of the stage. Not to mention, her technique allows her to instantly clear normal enemies, including the ones in the Sim universe. This drastically speeds up your weekly Sim universe runs. I think this alone is never going to be power crept. There may be a super awesome special Mega Evolution 10-star damage lord in the future who can't out-damage Acheron, but I doubt any of those characters will be able to help us save time with our Sim Universe runs the way Acheron can right now. And you know what they say, time is precious. Since time is precious, I won't waste any more of your time. Am I pulling for Acheron? Yes. Yes, I'm pulling for Acheron. I have one simple reason. I am willing to pay if it means being able to speedrun any percent through my weekly Sim Universe runs. In my opinion, at best, she replaces my Jing Yuan. At worst, she'll be my new Sim Universe default team. It's a win-win for me, right? As for Eidolons, E2 is the highest I'm willing to go for before I start regretting my financial decisions when Sam comes out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye.